Hello everybody, AJ Ryzik here, and today we've got another Linux OS review. Today we're taking a look at Zorin OS 10. Now this is their release candidate. The final version is not out yet. Should be very soon though. In my testing the past few days, it looks like they've gotten all the bugs worked out of it. Really haven't run into issues, whatnot. I think we're close enough that I can go ahead and do a review on it. And let me go and drag over. We've got up here on Firefox, I've got from their blog page talking a little bit about this release. And I've reviewed previous versions of Zorin in the past and been pretty favorable to it. But I think the last time I looked at it was Zorin OS 8, so it has been a little while. But anyway, this release here. Let's see, where are we? Um, they've done a little refinement to their theme changers, which is kind of one of the defining features of Zorin operating systems. Is they've got some theme changers, some look changers that are built in, so you don't have to go and tweak all the various aspects of the appearance. Now, this may be a good thing or bad thing depending on where you're coming from, and I'll talk a little more in depth about that later on. But anyway, they've got the Free Sans is their new desktop font, and they have a new icon theme which is based on Elementary and the Elementary add icon themes. And they've added some new colors to their theme changer. They've added green, orange, and red alongside of their classic blue, which the classic blue is what what we've got by default here. Let's see what else they got to say about it. Refresh the selection of default applications. They added a new media player. They went with Geary for their email client, and the California calendar app from Elementary OS, which is very nice calendar application. Zorin is based on Ubuntu. This particular version is based on Ubuntu 15.04, and so it runs the 3.19 kernel. I think, let me look at my notes here, 3.19.0 or -22 is the exact kernel number. And that about covers what they had to say in their blog post. So let's get this review underway. Let me drag that out of the way and we'll get started here. A great desktop appearance has always been one of the highlights of Zorin OS. This release is no exception. This is the default look that we've got right here, but if you go and right click and want to change your background, you can see they've got quite a variety of desktop backgrounds that you can switch to. This is one of those things where beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So some of them may not work out for you, may not be to your liking, but there's a decent variety here. They got some of the ones from their previous releases, as well as some new stuff there. But I think I will just go back to the default look. The desktop is based on Gnome. I know a lot of people believe that it's based on Pantheon, but it is based on Gnome. So we've got just a single panel across the bottom, and then right here with where you got the Z, we've got their menu. Click on that, you got a pop-up menu. And one of the things I've always liked about Zorin is their animations, and these are all Compiz animations. But I think that they've been done really well, so they look good, and they're not too fast, not too slow. I think they pretty much nailed it with the animations. But anyway, so you got your you got a main menu here. It is searchable, so you can just type in, like, let's say if we wanted to pull up LibreOffice, and it'll pull it right up for you. And then you've got some categories right here along the side. You got a power and reset button, that sort of thing. And then you've got main categories right here as well. Across the bottom, by default, you have a quick launch icon for Firefox, one for your file browser, which is the Gnome file browser. It's called Files these days. Used to be called Nautilus, and then also our media player. Then we have, of course, our tray with all the open applications. Over here on the right-hand side, we have our keyboard selector. This little icon is from me running Simple Screen Recorder. Right here is our internet connectivity, and then our sound icon, and then our time, date, / calendar, and then of course power button as well. Now I mentioned that there were some default look and theme changes, and let me go and open those up. We'll open up the look changer and then also the theme changer. Now one thing I'd like to see is for them to combine both the theme and look changer all into one application. That would be nice, because most likely, if you want open one, you're going to want to open the other. Anyway, what we have right now is basically a Windows 7 look here. The menus look very much Windows 7, the bottom panel and whatnot. You can go and change it to a Windows XP look. Give it a second, which is what we have here. We've got across the panel on the bottom, rather than just having icons, we have full, I guess, descriptions is what you would say for our open applications. And then we've got, here's our menu. It's very much more of a Windows XP style. And then you also have the Gnome 2 look, which you could go to, and it gives you a traditional Gnome 2 style, which is a tray across the bottom panel with a workspace switcher over on the right hand side, and then our menus / applications, that sort of thing, across the top, and then some more of our system icons up here on the right hand top. I'm going to switch it back to the Windows 7 look, because as much of a Gnome fan as I am, I was never too fond of the 2-panel layout on Gnome 2. I personally like a single panel, throw it all into one. So anyway, you've got those default looks. Now, some of the previous versions of Zorin, you could purchase a premium version of Zorin, which would have other looks that you could switch to. I believe there was a Mac look, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what some of the others were, but there were others available as well. I do not know whether there's going to be a premium version of Zorin 10. We'll just kind of have to wait and see on that. I didn't see anything on their blog saying they will or will not. But anyway, so there's those looks, and then as far as the theming, we've got the blue theme right now. You can switch to a green theme, which probably doesn't look too good with the blue background. Let's go to a different background. There we go. And then you could even go and switch the bottom bar from, you can do the light background, or you can go to their dark background, which is what we got here. It's kind of cool looking. And then they also have a black background. I don't see a whole lot of difference between the dark and the black, but kind of gives you an idea of what's available. And then you've also got orange, and a red. So the red would probably look pretty good with that back background. Yeah, I do like that. But anyway, that gives you an idea of what some of the different looks that you can go with. Now, like I said earlier, if you like the looks of what is available here, you're golden. If you don't, it it's not really all that intuitive as far as how you're going to go about switching the look here. You don't have in say for example XFCE, you have the various tools for changing uh, this color, that color, the icon theme, all that kind of stuff. You really don't have that here. You can do it. It's just not going to be that easy of a task. However, if you are somebody that's really just interested in sitting down, getting the work done, and okay, you like one of the themes that they got, you're in good shape here. Well, let's take a look at some of the software that we have available here. Start out in the games, and we've got some solitaire, we've got mahjong, we've got mines, quadripassal, and Sudoku. And then under graphics, we've got our document viewer, we've got GIMP, we've got our image viewer, LibreOffice. Actually, more than just LibreOffice Draw, we've got the entire LibreOffice Office suite. Shotwell for photo management, and then our our scanning application. Under Internet, already talked about Firefox being our browser. And then we've got Empathy for instant messaging, and talked about Geary as our email client. Excellent lightweight client, by the way. If you've never tried it, definitely worth giving it a shot. And then where am I? Oh, and then our remote desktop client. And this is interesting right here, the Zorin web browser manager. Okay, so I already said, we come with Firefox by default, but if you go to this thing, you need to put your password in, and it's basically a quick launch for installing other web browsers. So, if you want to go Google Chrome, if you want to go Epiphany, which is now called Web, or Midori, just go and click on one of the install buttons. Here, we'll install Midori. Do I want to continue? Yes. And it will install Midori. Or you can do an uninstall here. I could uninstall Firefox if I wanted to. Just give it a second to do its update and download and install, and boom, you're ready to go. All right, so after the internet stuff, let's take a look at for Office. We have, of course, I already mentioned LibreOffice Suite. We have the California Calendar app. Just let me open that up real quick. Nothing really fancy, but it's got all the basics covered. You got a nice size calendar to look at. If you go and configure your online accounts, you can go and integrate this with your Google Calendar if you use Google Calendar. You got the month view, a week view. You can look at an agenda, that sort of thing. Got some few options there for zooming in, zooming out. Little icon here for what kind of stuff you want to add to your calendar, and a little plus button to add a new event. Like I said, not a lot of features, but it's got the bases covered. And okay, so then after that, we've got sound and video. They include Brasero Disk Burner, Cheese Webcam, and GUVC video. they added Parole Media Player as their default media player. I went and added VLC, um, just because, I mean, Parole's not a bad player, but VLC, it just, it plays everything. It's a good general purpose workhorse. Um, that's just my preference, but it kind of left me scratching my head why you wouldn't go with VLC, and went with Parole. But anyway, so that's our media player. OpenShot for a video editor. I prefer Kdenlive over OpenShot. However, I think for a new user or somebody that wants just very basic video editing, that OpenShot is a better video editor for that kind of user. Rhythmbox is good general purpose music player, and of course I added Simple Screen Recorder VLC. Under System Tools, first we got the administration, which includes all your security privacy settings. Software Center is the Ubuntu Software Center. Personally, I would have gone with AppGrid or maybe the Lubuntu Software Center, or I mean, there's just a whole host of others that I think work a lot better than Ubuntu Software Center. We've got our Software Updater, which is the same one that you'll find in Ubuntu. Startup Disk Creator. And then we also have Synaptic Package Manager in addition to the Software Center. Personally, if I'm going to use a tool besides the terminal to add software to a distribution, it's going to be Synaptic, at least when I'm dealing with a Debian-based system. Settings for our user accounts, and then Windows wireless drivers. That's kind of a neat application there. I don't know if you want to call it an application or a tool or what you want to call it, but anyway, basically, if you've got a computer that maybe has some oddball video card in it that there's not a open source equivalent for the wireless driver, you can use this little tool to install a Windows a Windows driver for it, and basically I don't know all the technical details, but basically it uses a Linux wrapper to allow you to use the Windows driver. So I've used it a couple times in the past, not on Zorin but on other distributions, and worked great for me. Here under preferences, I'm using an AMD card, so the Catalyst Control Center has been added here. But there's where you'll find so that you can add additional drivers, your appearance changer, or I'm sorry, that's for your background right there. I kind of lost my place now. Okay, there I'm back. You can back up your system. You got your Bluetooth settings, brightness, color. All of the animations are provided by Compiz, and here is your Compiz configurations. If you are a new user or not real familiar with Compiz, do a little reading and maybe watch one of my videos on Compiz or something along that lines before you mess with the settings here, because you can royally screw up your system by playing with this thing. And the more experienced users out there, you know what I'm talking about. Details just basically tells you a little bit about your system, information on your disk, display settings, keyboard settings, mouse and touchpad settings, network settings, settings. This is where all those kinds of things are. Set up your online accounts, power management, sound. You can kind of see it's just all the settings for all that kind of stuff. So if you want to dig in there and work with that kind of stuff. Right here we've got our disk usage analyzer, power stats, system log, system monitor if you want to take a look at the amount of RAM, CPU, that kind of thing that you're using up. By the way, not real heavy on this distribution. I think I was running, let's go and pull it up now. We'll just take a look and see what we're running right now. Right now I am running 1.4 gigs of RAM right now, and that is with uh, the webcam viewer running, simple screen recorder running, and a couple of instances of Firefox running. So that's not bad on the memory use. Um, Baseline, what was baseline? I think was right around 400 megs of RAM. So um, I guess you consider it middleweight as far as RAM use. Definitely much lighter than KDE, lighter than Unity. Oh, where were we? Uh, Quick link for our terminal, and then the look and theme changers right there. And right here, we've got a whole category for Wine. If you want to go and install some Windows programs on your desktop here, you'll have launches for your various Windows programs installed through Wine right here. You can go and do a little Wine configuration. You can use Play on Linux, which is kind of, you're using Wine. Think of it as a front end for Wine. It gives you they've got some free configurations for some of the more commonly installed Windows programs, Microsoft Office, variety games, that sort of thing. You can go and uninstall your Wine software from here, and then Wine Tricks, which is in some ways is kind of similar to Play on Linux in that it's got some configurations there for installing a variety of Wine or for a variety of Windows software. Another link for our software center and places just shows you all of your various folders and hard drives, that sort of thing, everything that's on your computer. And I think that about covers all of the programs that we got running here. So general overall impressions. Well, I like the distro. Everything worked. Didn't have any problems, anything like that. The one thing I did notice is you do get the occasional lag when starting up the program. Now, once a program is started and running, there's no problems with it, but it just seemed like I had to wait a little bit when I initially clicked on an application to open up, and that may be because of the Compiz settings that are used. I'm not exactly sure, but it wasn't a big deal, but it was enough for me to notice it, and I wanted to point it out. But really didn't have any stability issues or anything like that. As far as who this a distro would be good for, certainly a new user. I mean, this is one of those where you can install it and just run with it. And even the more advanced user, if you're the kind of person that you just want to install the distribution and sit down and get to work, this is going to be a good one for you. And it gives you a couple of different themes, a couple of different looks, colors, that sort of thing, that are pre-configured, and you can set those and just run with it. Now, if you are the kind of person that likes to tweak everything to the nth degree, this is probably not your distro, because it's not going to be real easy to make all of those tiny little bit of changes. And if you're going to be real particular about wanting things to look in an exact certain way, you probably won't be too happy here. So just like any distro, it's going to depend upon the user and what your priorities are, that sort of thing. But all in all, I think this is a real good distribution, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it hit the final release. And I'm curious to see if they do a premium version of this one, or if they will wait until the next. They might wait till the next Ubuntu long-term support release. I could see them doing that. That would make sense. But in either case, real neat distribution. Enjoyed working with it, and hopefully it's a success for them. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, leave comments, questions, all that kind of stuff down below, and I will get to them as soon as possible. If you like the video, be sure to give us a big old thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And as always, I will catch you on the next video. Thanks a lot.